So once we have everything mixed down and our audio is completely the way that we want it to, we've employed all the ducking, we've employed the buses, obviously, we have all the sound effects we needed, we're ready to render out, right? So this is the final thing we're going to do. Now to render out, we actually have to render through an application called Media Encoder, right? So what we do is we go to File, right? And we go down to Export, and we go to Export with Adobe Media Encoder. Now what's going to happen is Media Encoder is going to open and it's going to run in the background. So we're not actually going to do anything with Media Encoder. In fact, we are going to do everything on this window right here. In fact, right here it says waiting for Adobe Media Encoder. So Media Encoder should be opening up. And once it's opened up and ready to go, we should be ready to render out. Now we are going to render out to an H.264 or H.264 file, right? Which that's not actually the file, that's the name of the codec that we are going to be using. The actual file type we're going to render out to is an MPEG-4 is what it's going to be. But Premiere uses the jargon H.264, which is a little different. Great, so Media Encoder is actually open and running in the background, which we have right here, right? We have Media Encoder open, and what we want to do is we want to match source high bitrate is what we're after, right? So this is the default here. Now, if your Media Encoder says something different that's coming in on, right, we have to change the format. Like let's say it's coming in as a QuickTime or something, right? We're going to have to go down here and we are going to have to change it to H.264, not H.264 Blu-ray, okay? And the default is match source high bitrate. Of course, we have all kinds of options here that we can do, right? But what we want is match source high bitrate. This is going to give us the highest quality one. As you can see, it's based on source, so it gives us that it's in 48 kilohertz stereo, right? One pass. Target is 10 megabits per second. Max is 12 megabits, which is pretty high, but on the other hand, it's pretty standard for HD video. Okay, so we want to make sure it's going into the right place. So I am going to go ahead and find where I want this, which is in here, 1610. And then this is in Project 2, Chipkubera 2. So this is where I want to keep this. So I'm going to save this, right? Very important. Make sure it's named correctly, which should be first, last, two, which mine is. And when you're ready, you click OK. And as you wait, it's going to take a couple of minutes to render out. But once it renders out, you should have your video and you're ready to go.